Monster Hunter. Everybody played a little, or at least heard of it. IP created by Capcom in the PS2 era in 2004, but got its greatest popularity in 2018 with Monster Hunter World. And some of you are probably thinking, Benny, this game is not underrated. Everybody loves Monster Hunter World. It even sold 18.8 million copies. Okay, maybe the last part you didn't know, but you got what I mean. M8, for those with great intimacy, is one of the most financial success released by Capcom. So, what about it? Well, I tried to play and like this game 3 times in my lifespan, to try and see the magic that people keep talking about, non-stop. And please, I needed to breathe after I say it. I do not like Monster Hunter World at all. For 3 times I tried and failed to say what makes Monster Hunter Monster Hunter. And I have been present to the impression that I will never like it. I will not say that it's a bad game. Sometimes I do not like something not because it's bad, but because it's not made for me. MMORPGs is not my thing, and I will never say it's bad necessarily. Black Desert by the moment is the only exception for this rule. However, I have come across to find a channel which was making a review about every Monster Hunter game that was ever launched. If you speak Portuguese, the link is in the description of this video. Long story short, I decided to give this game its 4th try. And that's when I finally may say that Monster Hunter World was underrated game by me. And now, I cannot stop playing it. This is my experience when I finally found its magic. But do you wanna know something more magical than this? Your subscription. Got it! I passed more than 16 hours and some in this game. And I know it's very little compared to a lot of you who stop trying to shove your dick on your screen. I got it. But comparing this to my previous attempts is like comparing night and day, earth and sky. The amount of time I have seen each monster interaction and discovering new ones, it is like discovering new regions to explore in the Souls game. Fighting monster weakness is addicting. Is it weak to poison, fire, drug or element? Word explore your curiosity as you also explore its word. See what I did there?
Vlad Dracula Tempest, and I have had enough!
Even though I'm speaking greatly about the game, my recount of it was like, where do I even go? What do I even do? Is this monster even beatable? It took me a while to get used to the game systems. RPG games are like my kryptonite. So my attention became more required to farming the same monster so I could get their set, learning that damage is not everything but the element the monster is weak against. There is no weapon better than the other. Some weapons are allowed to use some elements, some do not, which encourage using different ones. There was and still is a lot of things I needed to pay attention. I was not willing to do it at first. Experimenting something out of my comfort zone was a challenge to say the least. And again, it still is. But also, again, finding the monsters and before that, getting prepared to face them, it's like you are facing a worthy opponent. I mean, except you, and you, and you. But the rest? Tobi Kadachi, which is only aggressive if provoked, it still is a decent challenge. This overgrown lizard was my sworn nemesis, and I still refuse to face a Raffian and a Diablos. These guys, as far as I know, are the alphas of their habitat. The words are for the cowards, my viewers, because they are the one who keeps spreading the seed of life.
And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
And as far as I remember, I never paid so much attention on the tutorial message as much as I did with Elden Ring. That said, why the fuck the NPCs keep repeating almost every single word I read from the tutorials? And look at you, handler. How the hate I heard about you is justified!
Oh.
And if I will have to take another problem, well, it is not a problem really, but it bothers me, is despite that this game has a story of its own, it lacks memorable characters. But it also can be said that the plot is merely a justification for you to fight other monster, and that, as I said, is not an actual issue, but there are zero characters that did, almost nothing. 16 hours of gameplay, and I was finally able to see someone doing something in a cutscene. Yes, only one person, because the rest... However, I must say that the cutscenes are indeed well directed. You can see when they are making the final preparations to face Zora McDurrow's, the amount of importance that these final moments are for this mission. I mean, these are the guys who make Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, but of course they were able to make it. I would love to talk about the multiplayer, but I did not experiment it enough to say, except for the fact that it becomes very, very easy to defeat monsters. Tobi Kadashi was beat in less than 10 minutes, and before you ask, no, I'm not willing to play with a 16-year-old kid and during say how much I suck at the game. I only played 2 missions with a friend who was willing to help me for a moment. Now, the actual thing I really wanted to talk about, the monsters. Cutting straight to the point, they are amazing. You can really feel they are living beings in their own environment. The great jaguars that looks like a giant iguana, and Janeth, I don't know how to pronounce his name, a T-Rex. Tobi Kadachi is a mix of a reptile and a squirrel. The Puke Puke, a mix of a lizard, a bird, and a toad. A Rafi is a dragon, a Japus is a dragon sent from hell, a barrel, it is what it is, and I have no idea what to say about it. You are just a fucking chicken. Whenever they move, you can feel their muscles in their bodies instead of just being 3D models to the feet so you can get their next armor set. This illusion, they belong in this world. You simply buy it. And it was at least 5 years ago. I mentioned before that the Tobi Kadashi is not aggressive towards you, but the monsters there are, oh my boy. The way they react when they feel your presence, you just feel, man. You just feel their movement. It would not surprise me if the production team actually search how an animal acts whenever an intruder invades their territory. I was trying to get a Diablos off guard to get some chip damage, to see out of curiosity. Stupid idea, I know. But he noticed me before, and after it, I ran with the tail between my legs, and there is something I realized. And it is that the Diablos raise his head to establish dominance. It is something real animals do, and even humans do it a lot of the time. Or when I was passing a ruffian by walking around its territory, and this big kept sniffing to find my location. And it is something that really makes me proud to spend my money on. And I'm not even in the middle of the game. I already know all the monsters I'm gonna face. And meeting them still makes me feel excited, so I can loot their corpses, of course. I cannot express with words how happy I am to finally enjoy something I thought I would never do. It makes me think how many games, TV shows, movies we judge without realizing what they are truly about. If for some reason you do not like something, and if you feel it's worth a try, please do listen to your heart. Maybe you can receive a present, just like I did. Thank you for joining me. If it's of your heart's content, please do not forget to like, subscribe. Also, join me on the comment section. I promise you will not regret it.
Of course, if you do not want to, please do not look behind.
You look at Daniel.